guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year to all of you. I really do hope you had a really lovely break. I know I certainly did, but it's gone far too quickly. However, guys, I do feel like I've missed this whole thing. You know, it's kind of been a big part of my life. So I know some of you messaged, you've been missing me because I've not been putting out videos as much as I could. However, it was a holiday after all, so we are back to normal now. So we are, guys, talking about really the 2024 coming year and how I'm changing my prepping priorities slightly. As we know, guys, 2023 wasn't particularly the best of the years. However, unfortunately, 2024 is predicted to be a little bit more tougher. And there are many reasons for that. First of all, guys, which is the basic one, and I've covered this on the video before, which I'll put the link up there. They're talking about the food shortages, and I've mentioned all the products that are meant to be in short supply or increased prices. As I said, have a look on the video out there. It kind of goes without saying, but this is not something particularly we're worried about. Yes, as a preface, guys, of course, you know, food shortages is very important. It's important to be prepared. However, we've been doing this for over the long period of time, and the food shortage doesn't seem like it's scaring me as much as anything else. So the next thing, guys, the prediction, we're talking about the inflation, and yes, inflation is set to be on the rise again. Although it's predicted to increase only by a couple of percent, we kind of know, guys, that when it's going to be happening, chances are it'll probably increase by more than 2%, and certainly the food prices will be rising up more than 2% as well. The next thing, which is slightly a bit more worrying, guys, it is 2024, and if you are a prep and if you're aware of the Agenda 2030 and it's now Agenda 2025, we are literally just 1 year away from a massive changes. And this is the really scary part, guys. When we talked about it sort of a couple of years back, you think, okay, it's going to be a couple of years in between. There is things still, this is time for things to change gradually. Well, we have a year left, and it kind of worries me teeny weeny bit because year will fly by like they all do anyway, and what sort of changes and how quickly those changes are going to happen, this is kind of thing that worries me quite a bit. And unfortunately, last but not least things, guys, if you follow the channel, you know that I've discussed the whole thing about the electricity and the being off grid, and obviously we've been advised by our government to stock up on the candles and first aid kits due to a potential the outage of electricity. And this is the thing, guys, that kind of worries me a little bit more. 2024 predicted to have quite a more intense solar activity with more intense CMEs. And this has got me thinking. I know, guys, I did this video, as I said, about preparing for the being off grid for a few hours. You know, if electricity goes out, if there is a cyber attack, then we kind of stayed without electricity for a little while. And I'm thinking, yeah, but we can still kind of rely on a solar power if you have a solar generator, just like what we do. However, we are talking about the solar storms, and potentially if they could be as bad as they were in the past. It was like 1859 and 1989 in Canada. Yes, it was only been out for 9 hours. However, in 1859, there was a much stronger storm. However, the point is, guys, although it would not affect you as a person, we're talking potentially the effect it will have on a grid and all the electronic devices. And that's where it's getting me thinking again. Of course, yes, I'm deep inside as a prepper. We all hoping that things are not going to happen, especially things like a natural disaster. And deep inside still, I'm kind of relying, thinking, well, you know, I have a solar power, that'd be okay, it will get us through. However, if the CME happens and if it does wipe out the electricals, then we're going to be in a little bit of pickle. And this is the point, I think, where I'm going to be concentrating into in the new year, guys, in terms of the preps, okay? If you've been following, especially on Instagram, I did a post and I said, when the vegetables, hear me, vegetables in Tesco's were cheap because before Christmas, then my mission was to dehydrate a lot of veg because they are cheap, and well, why not? So I've been on a mission and I have managed to do a few bigger jars. So I basically dehydrated 20 kilos of mixed vegetables. And the point is, guys, when as a prepper, we always stock up on the food, obviously like rices and pasta, because we think, yes, it's really hearty and it's a good thing to have because it keeps for the long time. It's absolutely brilliant. Yes, it takes you time to boil this, so what a big deal. However, in the instance where we are having no electricity, there's going to be quite a big deal. So my part of what I'm not saying going to be taking the channel, but we're going to be discussing more, and I'm going to be certainly prepping more based on this scenario of having a power grid down and no solar. We're talking about the no electric devices whatsoever. So having the food that it's ready to eat much quicker than you boiling a pasta for 12-15 minutes and rice, it's going to be super, super important. I have mentioned once before, guys, that I was in the process of doing some, let's say, kind of research, but in the dehydrating pastas, and I will do the video separately, and we're going to be discussing which parts or which pastas are working best for dehydrating and rehydrating with minimal energy. And at the same time, we are going to be talking and creating a sachets with pre-mixed herbs and spices, something that is basically ready to eat very, very, well, instantly, basically. And we'll be doing the same with rices. Of course, I'm going to be concentrating still on the dehydrating a lot, because it is something that's you just easy to rehydrate this with hot water. You don't need to do anything to it. And this is kind of my direction in my prepping head for this coming year. And of course, guys, talking about the electricity outages, guys, you know, if electricity is out for a couple of days, it's not a big deal. It could be out for a week or 2 weeks, which in many villages have been just due to the bad weather. It happens all the time, but we're going to be thinking a little bit in advance, guys, and a little bit ahead, that after a little while, how long does it take for people to start sort of panicking and potentially understanding that things will take potentially months to fix? Again, with the CME having all the electrical devices out and the power grid, you won't be able to fix your devices, are doubtful. With a power grid, again, it could potentially take months. It all depends on the severity of the case. So unfortunately, the next thing, guys, is going to be, and we'll be covering this, is a self-defense on the channel. It's not, we are talking about, guys, I'm not going to tell you how to beat somebody with a baseball bat, but what are sort of legal things we could potentially buy and do to our houses as a self-defense for the shtf scenario. We live in the UK, guys. It's not illegal to have guns and things like this unless you have air rifles. But the point is, don't forget again, guys, when the shtf situation happens, if it happens, the things that are used to be illegal or legal or illegal, it's no longer going to be basically matter, because when the SHTF situation happens, you're going to be, you eat or you get eaten. So unfortunately, we'll have to kind of thinking about that as well. I did cover certain things about preparing yourself and your house for the just for the tough times, just in case. But I think again, in this year, I think it's very, very important to kind of look at this and actually potentially just look a little bit further ahead than just somebody breaking into your house and potentially stealing a little bit of food. It could get far, far worse. So this is the way we are, and I am thinking as a prepper for the 2024. Basically, this is where my mind is taking me, because I seem to think, as I always say, we're preppers, but you will never prepare for everything. And I think that the total collapse of the grid and all electronic devices could be, it's not something I'm certainly ready for long term, and this is kind of really scares me. Anyway, as the plan for this channel, guys, for the 2024, we're going to be discussing all those things. Of course, we're going to be talking about dehydrating, as I said, self-defense. We're going to be looking at the solar. Again, we're not talking, guys, of hopefully this things is not going to happen, but generally we still get to live our life and do what we have to do. So we're going to be talking about the solar panels and basically installing a basic solar system in your house. And no, I'm not talking about spending thousands of solar generators. We're going to just show you how to do a basics and explain the basics, how the solar things work. So if you do have a few spare pounds, you can sort of practice and experiment and hopefully get yourself ready into or put yourself into a slightly better solar position if you wish. The next thing also we're going to be doing is the herbal distillation, as I have gotten what I asked for Santa for Christmas, and it's a lovely herb distiller. So we'll be doing a lot of herbal things as well. And of course, guys, we're going to be covering our usual channel things that I normally do, like a prepping hauls and cooking and everything else. So if you feel that this channel, guys, is for you, if you're not subscribed already, then maybe hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Otherwise, guys, well, yeah, Happy New Year once again. I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye.